Good morning. Happy November 13th. Happy Saturday. I've mentioned a couple times now that this is the day that my family and I are setting aside to be the Sabbath, a day that we rest and we don't work. We don't work the way that we do throughout the week. It's one of the 7 days of the week that we make a conscious effort to relax. A bunch of words that start with R-E. Relax, refuel, refresh, renew, reconnect. I am about to read out of Genesis, actually out of my husband's Bible here, because mine is out in the car. I wanted to read to you all the verse about the Sabbath, the seventh day being set aside. And I thought that was at the tail end of chapter 1. It's actually the very first couple verses of chapter 2. I'm going to go ahead and read chapter 1 in the beginning. And while I'm reading, I'm going to take little notes on some kind of little scrap piece of paper because Clara has been very interested in what God did on which day. So I told her we could get a poster and we could write the numbers 1 through 7 and then draw a picture of what God did on each, what he created on each of these days. But this is not something my family and I have always done, recognized the Sabbath or set it aside. By the way, holy, the word holy means set apart. So it's a day of the week that's set apart from the others. And I certainly want to be like God. He's my role model. Jesus was the ultimate role model, modeling the role of a human being. I absolutely believe God has it all figured out. I believe he always has. And when he created the world, and then he took a day off to rest, and then he has told us in Genesis, we'll get to that in a minute, that I don't know if he specifically tells us to, but he certainly leads by example. That after 6 days of working hard and creating and producing, it's very creative, it's very productive. Having one day set aside to not operate in that exact same way creates a sustainable rhythm to our week and to our life. And there's micro rhythms throughout the day. We'll notice we don't eat everything in the morning and then go till we fall asleep. We have a rhythm and a pattern of eating our food, using the fuel, and then running out. We make our way to lunch, and then we eat the fuel, and then we use the energy, and then we run out, and we're ready for more at dinner. The entire day has a similar rhythm, obviously, where, whether we like it or not, the sun goes down in the evening, which gives our bodies and these amazing bodies we're in all sorts of cues to start releasing different chemicals. The melatonin, so that we can start to fall asleep. It's a rhythm. Just like the year has a rhythm, and the day has a rhythm, the week has a rhythm. And we are practicing this. And you think of the word practice, what we practice we'll get better at. So let's be sure we're practicing. Let's be sure we're putting into practice things that we want to get better at. Because the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, good, bad, or ugly. So just like my kids with their basketball practice, the more they practice it, the more they put it into practice, the more proficient they get at it. So we're just currently practicing, making a conscious effort to have Saturday be For us, the Sabbath, I don't think it matters what day of the week that is for anyone. I don't think there's no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday here in Genesis. I think it has a lot more to do with the rhythm of your life and the way God is leading you, and what day of the week it would make most sense for you to set aside. With everything around here, I have to make a conscious effort, but I love it. I love that God has given me the gift of a day off. It's up to me to accept the gift and put it into practice. Obviously, I could look around here and see all sorts of stuff to get done, but I'm going to trust, and I do trust, that it will get done, especially as, like I was talking to Cristin in the comment below yesterday's video, the November 12th video, it'll get done in the proper order when I ask him to lead my steps. So it's kind of like when someone tells you, oh, kick back and relax, and you can tell for some people that's really hard. That's a red flag. If it's difficult to relax, if it's difficult to renew, if it's difficult to recharge, we might be in a habit of operating a certain way. So this does take a conscious effort, my husband, and we're new to it. We've just sort of like sporadically been talking about, oh, the Sabbath, this or that. But I can tell with as busy as we are, and ironically, me running my kids to all these events, that's not a whole lot of quality time with them. Yes, it's very, very stimulating for them. It's very, very good for them. It's social, it's active, it's healthy. The pros outweigh the cons. We obviously value doing all that throughout the week. It's not a whole lot of quality time with them. What I like to think of is some downtime where we're just together. So it's funny, this morning my husband said, okay, I'm gonna go check these little calves, and I thought, well, that'd be fun. I could go do that with him. And then he said, now I'm gonna go shopping. He needed to go get himself a couple things. I thought, well, that'd be fun. I could go do that with him. And then he said, and then I'm gonna go over to this guy's house in a nearby town, and he wanted me to show him how to set up a calf pen, because this guy is not a farmer by trade, and just wanted some pointers. And then my husband said, oh, I forgot today's the Sabbath. We're not used to it. We're just now putting this into practice. Honestly, because I'm sensing we need to more than ever. Things are moving quickly. The kids are growing quickly. The world is moving quickly. We have to make a conscious effort to slow down and allow the week to have a rhythm that is sustainable. Allow the week to have a pattern where it's not a constant climb. Just like with the day, when it builds, but it comes back down. The week needs to do the same thing. We've got to set our week up. We don't got to do anything. God already did it. It's all in Genesis chapter 1 and 2. So I did not go and do these things with my husband. I thought, I am going to take this opportunity in this quiet house. At one point, there were 0 kids here. I think there's 1 or 2 running around now. But I prayed and asked God to order my steps. And I'm so grateful He led me right into the kitchen to take care of myself in that nice, clean, quiet kitchen. And here I am in bed with coffee and my Bible, and allowing my battery to charge while all 5 of my kids are having so much fun, different places with different people right now. We've got family in town at my in-laws next door. My oldest son is at a friend's house. Charlie has a friend over, and they've been outside all day already. I'm going to enjoy this time, allowing my battery to recharge. I have started the day with water and water like I do every day. Thank you, Susan and Cristin. Susan left an awesome comment. I highly recommend checking it out up underneath the A Word on Fear video, where she I started the day with water and water. And thanks to these two gals, I started the day. Susan left a comment up underneath there and left Psalm 145:15. Cristin left another comment up under the November 12th video and told me that while she read the book of James, specifically James 4:13 through 17, she thought of me. So I responded to her underneath those. I responded to both of them underneath those videos. So thank you, ladies, for bringing the word to me this morning. Psalm 145:15. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food at the proper time. Such a good one, isn't it? Thank you, Susan, for sharing that. Psalm 145:15. Susan's headed to a wedding this afternoon, and she said she's going to go surrendered, hydrated, and empowered by the Holy Spirit. And I left her a comment below and told her, and we are going with you. The beginning. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be an expanse between the waters to separate water from water." So God made the expanse and separated the water under it. So God made the expanse and separated the water under the expanse from the water above it. And it was so. God called the expanse sky, and there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let the dry ground appear." And let dry ground appear, and it was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds." And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good, and there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark seasons and days and years, and let them be lights in the expanse of the sky to give light on the earth." And it was so. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set them in the expanse of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, "Let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the sky." So God created the great creatures of the sea and every living and moving thing with which the water teems, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the water in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, livestock, creatures that move along the ground, and wild animals, each according to its kind." And it was so. God made the wild animals according to their kinds, the livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures that move along the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth and over all the creatures that move along the ground. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air and over every living creature that moves on the ground." Then God said, "I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food, and to all the beasts of the earth and all the birds of the air and all the creatures that move on the ground, everything that has breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food." And it was so. God saw that all he had made. God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the 6th day. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the 7th day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the 7th day, he rested from all his work. And God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. So there you have it. If God set a day aside to rest, I'm happy to do the same. By the way, if you heard that, if you read that, and you're like me and thought, a couple years ago I thought, oh, I don't remember when it was, but I read that and thought, are we supposed to be vegetarians? Because it says that he gave us seed-bearing plants and fruits, and then all the animals were given the green grass and the vegetation to eat. I reached out to my pastor and said, are we supposed to be vegetarians? And he gave me some good news. No. In Genesis chapter 9, God then goes on to give mankind his blessing and permission to eat meat. Yay. Water, and water. I've already drank half my gallon. I've been in the Word this morning. Thanks again, Cristin, for your thoughtful comment up underneath the November 12th video. And if you're interested, I did respond to Cristin in a very lengthy comment below, talking about the subtle but significant shift. Just one little mentality shift. What a difference it can make in our lives. I go into detail up underneath that video, but she said that James chapter 4 verses 13 through 17 made her think of me, and I thanked her for that compliment. Here they are. Boasting about tomorrow. Now listen, you who say today or tomorrow we will go to this or that city, spend a year there, carry on business and make money. Why do you not even know? Why you do not even know what will happen tomorrow? What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it is the Lord's will, we will live and do this or that. As it is, you boast and brag. All such boasting is evil. Anyone, then, who knows the good he ought to do and doesn't do it, sins. That says a lot, doesn't it? So up underneath that comment, I just thanked her for the compliment that she said that she admires the way that I aim to do His will. But then I thanked her for bringing James chapter 4, verse 17 to me. Because I've been thinking a lot lately and sharing with you all that I'd rather be obedient and uncomfortable than disobedient and comfortable. And I can tell you, Luke 12:48, to much is given, much is expected. And like I say, if you have Christ dwelling within you, you have much. Let's don't go by the world's standards. If we have received Christ, we have something to share. In fact, we have something we're told to share. The Great Commission, Matthew 28:18 through 20. Go therefore and make disciples. But Cristin gave me this verse. Cristin, I believe God used you to get that to me. And it doesn't scare me or put any more pressure on me than I already have, that I already feel. It's a very real thing. The Bible's very clear about if you teach and preach, you're held at a higher standard. That's why I've asked my own pastor questions, and whatever his answers are, whether I agree necessarily or disagree, I tell him, hey, look, you and me, when we're in heaven, you're in more trouble than I am because you're telling me these things. You're leading me. And I do trust that he's the pastor that I am to be led by right now. So I take it very, very seriously. However, it's worth it to me to be obedient to God and follow Him, knowing I'm not going to do it perfectly, because I'd much rather do it imperfectly than not at all. So while it sort of scares me to do anything that He's asking me to do, while it sort of scares me to do it wrong, it scares me a whole lot more to not do it. And I've just been thinking lately in terms of, personally, I'd rather be obedient than comfortable. And Cristin gave me this verse that pointed out, and God points out, if we're not doing the good He's telling us to do, that in itself is a sin. One of my sermons that I preached, I talk about, this is all in the comment below. November 12th, conversation between Cristin and myself. Temptation and notation. We don't want to do either one. The definition of a temptation is the urge to do something you know you shouldn't. I thought, as I was thinking about temptation one day, that I imagined the inverse is also true. So I came up with a word, notation, K-N-O-W. And that's the hesitation to do something that you know you should. And the reason that we would hesitate is because of our own human nature, our own, it'd be inconvenient, or it might be embarrassing. So that's all ego stuff. And like I've said many times, I want the Lord to help me Lego my ego, like that Lego my ego commercial slogan. I want God to help me Lego my ego. Lives are at stake. Eternal lives are at stake. So Cristin gave me this verse, and it really brings it all home, doesn't it? Just hits the nail on the head. It's the bullseye of, if there's good He's wanting us to do and we're not doing it, that's a sin. And again, that's actually a relief for me to go ahead and read it, because that's what I've been sort of been making my way there for a while, realizing I want to be obedient to Him. Not just not do all the things He tells me not to do, but to do the things He tells me to do. And it's more than being disobedient, not doing them. It's actually sinful. So, water, and water. 64 ounces of H2O. The living water, John 6:35. And here in just a minute, a much needed shower. The rest of today's video will be pictures. I'll show you a picture of my lunch. I will show you a picture of my ma'am, mid-afternoon meal. I will show you a picture of my dinner, which will be, I'll go ahead and tell you now. It'll be just what I'm supposed to eat. I have a lunch made and I have a dinner made, but I'm allowing God to order my steps, and I trust I'll spend this day with my family. I'll show you pictures. I will likely have veggie burgers and corn and tomatoes and apple and peanuts or mayonnaise. I'll have mayonnaise. Dinner will likely be broccoli and tilapia. I don't know. It might be dinner out. Clifford the Big Red Dog has hit the big screen. We've been looking forward to that. So I hope that today will include taking the girls to see that. Charlie and his friend didn't seem very interested in Clifford the Big Red Dog. We might take them out to dinner. I don't know. I will show you pictures, and if we take them to the movies, I will likely eat some popcorn. But because I'm so well fueled, I will probably not eat a 5-gallon bucket of it, because I don't imagine I'll be sitting there feeling ravenous. I'll just enjoy breaking some grain with my kids. That's it. I love you all dearly. Happy Saturday. It is 10:20, and I'm wrapping this video up. Like I said, I'll show you pictures of the rest of my day. It reminds me of that little caterpillar in that, is it Eric Vance is the author, maybe, where the little caterpillar eats his way. I will show you how I munch my way through this day. And Psalm 145:15. I'll keep my eyes on him, and I will allow him to give me the proper food at the proper time. I love you all dearly. I will see you tomorrow, Sunday, November 14th. Bye.